So I've been thinking a lot about how there's a genius drive of some sort, that everyone has something like uh, like a genius drive, or I compare it in my mind to a sex drive, because you know the way my life has unfolded, the way I've used it is definitely comparable to the high that you get while you're having sex, or even while you're intoxicated or something like that. Um, and I think everyone has this drive. It's there, and it's just a matter of tuning it and getting used to it, using it. So I think I just want to make people aware of that we have this capacity to understand the universe. And when we do, there's a tremendous reward. Most people shy away from doing science and wanting to really use their mind, because I think they see all the work that's required. I'm kind of lazy about that. I haven't taken the time to learn tensor calculus, which I probably should have by now. I haven't taken the time to learn a huge amount of the mathematics and the specifics of certain theories that would probably be good for me to know, because it's cumbersome. You have to take the time, and who wants to do that? But then there's the motivation for me is the reward, and the reward that I discovered was when you actually think of a thought that no one else has had before. Um, it's a high that is comparable to pretty much nothing I've experienced. And especially when you find out really no one else has ever thought along these lines ever. I mean, it's nice when you have a new thought for you, and then you find out someone else got it. It's kind of like an upper and a lower at the same time. But a caution to that. I think when you first discover that you have this genius, and it's like something that can drive your life, it's stronger than pretty much any drive, but a matter of getting it going. It can kind of take you over a little bit, so you have to be careful. Just like with any new really happy thing, you can become addicted to it, and I think a lot of that is what I've experienced. Um, so we all have this genius within us, and we all have this capacity for understanding. And to give you an idea of the type of high that you get, there's I think it's Archimedes, who when he made a discovery, he was sitting out, he was naked in the bath, and he sat down. He's a pretty big guy, pretty tubby, and he had his discovery, his eureka moment, and then he runs dripping naked to the king, who puts him on task to. I'm forgetting all the specifics of the story, but I put him on task, I think, to figure out how to weigh gold, and he figured out if he was in water, I changed the level by a certain amount, and that there's a relationship between the weight of something in the water and how much the liquid moves. But anyway, that's a bastardization of the story. But the main point that I'm getting at is that he's running naked in the street with this oh my gosh, I just discovered something, and that's what it does to you, pretty much. It makes you, because you gotta imagine nowadays what kind of drug you have to be on to be okay running naked in the street, especially back in the day where the king might actually cut your head off if you're insulting to him and stuff. So he obviously didn't care in that moment, because he discovered it. Yeah. So I hope everyone takes the time to discover that drive for themselves. Coming down to a more serious note, because it's so worth it. It's so worth it to find that out. And you might have the capacity to think a thought that no one else in the entire world is capable of thinking. That you're the only person that is even remotely close to being able to put things together in the right place to have that thought, and then when you share it with everyone else, you're like, oh, it totally makes sense now. So don't hold back. Don't think that because you're not used to using your mind in that way, that you don't have. We all have the capacity to contribute to knowledge and understanding. And to me, that's my eventual vision of where science should go, is that we don't think of scientists as these special branch of people, that we all know that we can contribute to knowledge, to the understanding of the way the world works. And that's my little rant. I hope you enjoyed it.